TV and welcome to my crib. I'm Anita Lasek and I'm a third-year drawing and painting student at OCADU University. And welcome to my studio. Not a nice. Oh, that's so gross. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I should paint that table. No, that's gonna be too much. What do you think of that? I can't fucking paint. This is so hard. Is this my artistic process? What if I paint a candle? Okay, I actually think the candle's gonna be really cool to paint. But then I don't know if I like the tin. Okay, we're painting a candle. Hopefully it doesn't burn down the chair. Oh, jeez. Maybe I need a good background. Just a casual laptop in here. Okay, hold on. Maybe we need... Might be a fire hazard. There's tape, I think, in that first drawer. Can you get it? Let me lower this. So let's start off with a little bit of Prussian blue with my oil because Picasso used Prussian blue. I used to be really scared of painting with oils because when I first did at home and not in like a studio, I got really sick because I was using these mineral spirits and I genuinely thought like I had like a fever. Like I was so scared for my life. And then I realized, when I'm not at home, I don't feel sick. So I blamed it on the oil paints. And yeah, I was right. I was literally poisoning myself with these oil paints. So I'm just going to leave that there. Then I go in with my brush and more of my blue. And let's go into there. Best thing about oils, if you make a mistake, you can literally just use your finger and wipe it off. So a lot of my paintings, which I just by chance happen to realize are, maybe I do need light. I really can't see shit. A lot of them are these domestic scenes, especially with like tea making or just like still life objects of like the kitchen scenes and whatnot. But what's kind of interesting about me growing up and kind of this Polish culture is tea drinking. So I grew up, I was drinking tea all the time. Any occasion, you drink tea. You feel bad, you drink tea. You have any problem, well, tea's gonna fix it. And that kind of standing in front of the tea kettle, waiting for the water to boil, has been something that's followed me around my whole life and probably will follow me around for the rest of my life because I can't stop drinking tea. And I do believe that it fixes all my problems. Maybe it's a placebo, but it works for me. Right here, I'm just blocking in, different shades. So yeah, how I got into art. Well, I was always really interested in art, but I was more interested always into math. And I was really good at math, actually. And I did these math contests, and I'd do really well. And I'd hang out with all the math kids, and it was a fun time. But then that interest in math kind of went away as I started pursuing something more with art. And then my love for art came. So I'm from Hamilton, Ontario, where the art community is kind of thriving. There's a lot of opportunities for artists, and they have this thing called James Street Art Crawl. So I think it's every second Friday of the month you go and you can set up. I don't even think you need a vendor's permit. I never had a vendor's permit. And you just kind of set up a table and do what you will with that. You could sell whatever you want, make your own money, no commission, no nothing. And at the time, I was really inspired by these matchboxes I saw in a Polish gift store. And the matchboxes, they had like these pictures of these political figures on them. I thought it was awesome. I was so hyped up by them. So I went to the store the next day and I bought a whole bunch of matches. And I used those matchboxes. I gessoed them, so I primed them, and I started painting. Not political figures because I'm not weird, but I started painting like scenes from my life, different scenes that I took from photos in my camera roll. So of, I don't know, the outdoors, lots of boats. I really liked water because I was really into reflections at the time. I still am, but not as much as I am with just form and basic simple structures that I put into a still life. But I really tried my hardest to make these matchboxes look good. And then I sold these matchboxes at the James Street Art Crawl. I made a little bit of money, which was kind of cool, but that's what really got me interested in the Hamilton art scene. From there, I moved more into being more involved into the art scene by taking part into like different shows. I helped out in the community a little bit. I helped out some friends with shows. And I also got into the newspaper, which was really cool. I got into the newspaper for one of my paintings, which just so happened to be a still life of me drinking tea, was pretty funny. The way I paint and my painting process relies really heavily on writing. I like to jot down notes and take notes of how I'm feeling and just keep writing. Like I'll be filling like pages of a sketchbook at a time. And just writing like nonsense sometimes. It's so much writing. And also I relate to songs. Whenever I do a painting, I always like to listen to the same song on repeat. Just so I know that I'm in the same, or maybe an album on repeat if I'm feeling a little more normal. But I just keep going, so I'm staying in that same headspace and like how I'm feeling. And usually I like to paint when things are fresh out of my mind. Like I don't like to paint, I don't like to let it linger. Like if the emotions are raw in there, then that's the best time to paint, in my opinion. And I usually just go for it. Like I don't hold back. I don't let anything kind of alter how I'm feeling at the moment because I really want to capture kind of the rawness of what's there. I try to take risks in the colors I mix as much as I can and just see where it takes me. If I feel a color looks fun, I'll apply it. My first year at OCAD, I got really into still life. I was painting a lot of still lifes. Most of it was due just because of like, that's what our assignment was, to paint a still life. But also I started getting really interested in spaces and kind of like the space you embody. You exist on almost two realms, like your spiritual realm, not really necessarily spiritual realm, but like kind of this like intangible realm of like your feelings and like your emotions, and then the actual real tangible world. So I kind of took this from my dad passing in 2016. So he passed away in Poland, and we were all living in Canada at the time. And the funny thing is that when he passed away, we went over to Poland, obviously, for the funeral, everything like that. And yeah, like a big part of my life changed through that short span of time. But honestly, my like surroundings, where I embody like the space I was taking up back at home, back in Canada, I came off of the plane, it looked the same. His stuff was still there. Everything remained the same. But it's kind of the thing that I had this weird emotional attachment to thing that would have been considered trash like days before, moments before. So it was this weird kind of like glitch almost, if you could say, that's happening between what's really in front of you, like the tangible objects in front of you, and what's kind of like emotionally happening to you. So after that, like the push that I got in first year to really start experimenting with my color palettes and experimenting with how colors make me feel and depicting it in that way really changed the course of how I was depicting objects. So recently I moved out of that house completely, back in Hamilton. So I'm here in Toronto working in this studio for an indefinite amount of time now. Hopefully for longer, because I really like it here. But after getting rid of all of that stuff, I started feeling very confused. I started feeling confused in how, like, why do I feel so strongly for these items? What's making them so special? What's my emotional attachment to, like, literal trash? Like, literal stuff you could throw out, like receipts, old receipts dated from, like, 2014. Why do I want to keep them? That's, like, the question I had. And then I kind of realized it. You have this connection on this emotional plane that you don't have in, like, the physical world. But that's kind of a theme that I really want to experiment more of in my paintings. And maybe the more I paint, the more I'll understand this feeling and, like, kind of reasoning why. But that's for another time, I guess. I really value being clean and being neat. That's why everything in my studio and my home is mostly all white. Now I know even my little jumpsuit is all white, and I bought this with the intention of being messy and I wanted to get it dirty, but no matter how hard I try, I cannot get this thing dirty, and it's kind of embarrassing. But I just think my whole kind of philosophy on that is, if everything is clean and white, then I have optimal space for thinking. I don't have anything clouding my thoughts. I don't have anyone else's thoughts clouding my thoughts. And I'm just free to think in, like, a blank slate kind of space. That's why I have nothing hanging up in my bedroom. Outside of my bedroom, sure, that's another story. But in my bedroom, it is plain. There's nothing in there, and there will be nothing in there. So I cannot risk having myself clouded with possibly someone else's thoughts, or thoughts that I don't know where they came from. I just need me, myself, and I in one space. So when I look on Instagram, I'm an avid Instagram user. I love Instagram. I love seeing what other people are doing, especially other people from OCAD. Like the school I'm going to, and even people from, like, back home, seeing what they're up to. And I love seeing their little kind of accomplishments that come up. It's so exciting knowing that you're friends with such amazing people. And sometimes in the past, I used to let it bother me, like if somebody's doing well, then you should be on the same level as them, or, you know, like these jealous feelings. But I feel like I've grown out of that. And instead of being jealous, I love to celebrate victories with other people and just know that they're your friends, and everyone should uplift each other and kind of grow this big community. And I feel like that's what Instagram is. And seeing people do well just really makes me so happy and proud that I know them, and proud that maybe I could have made like an impact on their lives through like a brief friendship, or like not even a brief friendship, just knowing them. What I'm going to be doing after school scares me, because I feel like I'm in such a safe zone right now that, oh, I just have to worry about this assignment, that assignment, maybe show up to work like every few days. I'm not doing too much. But then the thought of actually having to like do this as fast as I can to like survive is a scary thought. And I don't know how I feel about that. But it's always the future, and things are going to change like 10 million times before I know it. Like, if I were to tell myself in January where I would be, or who I'd be friends with, or what I'd be doing with my art, or what kind of new discoveries I have with my art, then I'd be like a little overwhelmed too. But I guess it's just kind of like with the process, you understand yourself and you understand what's going on. So, do I fear the future? Yes. Should I fear the future? Yeah, but not as much as I do, probably. I think I need to relax. I overthink a lot of things, and I need to stop doing that. And I feel like that's kind of what painting helps me to not do, is to overthink. Because I feel like my brain kind of shuts off and I just paint whatever's in front of me.